Sometimes you're searching for that ideal house, you're looking in the market, you've seen a ton of houses, and do you know what? You just can't find that perfect house, the one that you walk into and you go, love this house. Well, maybe it's time to think about building. Hi everyone, it's Richard Payne here from Halifax Homes and Lifestyles at eXp Realty, and we've been talking to a lot of clients recently, tons of people looking at buying houses, and sometimes you kind of get that feeling as a realtor that you're like, do you know what? We've looked at a ton of houses, we haven't found that right one, we've not had that feeling when you first walk in, you're like, this is absolutely it. And that's the time that a good realtor will look at you and say, have you thought about building your own house? Have you thought about new builds? Have you thought about what it's going to feel like to, yes, we know it's a fairly long process of something like 8 to 12 months, sometimes even longer than that, to actually build your own house, but it can be a really good option. So today I want to go through some of those choices, some of those critical factors that you're going to have to think about if you go down that path of like, let's get in touch with the builder and see if we can build our own home. Well, the first thing we want to do is find out who are the top builders in your local area, that Nova Scotia, the HRM, wherever you're thinking of looking. The first thing is to find a list of great builders. Now, working with a realtor, they should absolutely already know who are some of the best builders in that particular market. And there's a few things then that you want to get into is like, what's their reputation? Because that's the big thing here. You can have a lot of builders that, you know, have the ability, have the money, go out, start building houses, but then for whatever reason in 10 years, basically fold the whole thing up and walk away. Well, you want someone who's been in it for the long term. You want someone who's got that solid reputation. So that's the first thing to look for, is find a builder with a solid reputation, and make sure that when you're working with a realtor and you say, tell me a little bit more about Stonewater Homes, they should be like, oh my God, I've worked with them before. They're really good. They've got a fantastic design team, communication throughout the whole process, consultation throughout the process. They're brilliant. What you don't want to hear is kind of the opposite of that. We're not going to say what that is, but you can guess what the opposite is. Number two is that we're looking for clear signs of knowledge and experience, because like we just said, we want these builders to have been around a long time. We want them to know exactly when they're talking about building a home and landscaping, placement of the home. Do we need a drilled well? Do we need a septic field? All of these things are going to come into play. So you want to have that clear sign of knowledge and understanding of the process of what we're about to go through. How are they going to build that home? Want to make sure as well that we know and we clearly understand, and the builder articulates what is going to be actually included in the price that you're going to pay. Now, one of the other things when we talk about pricing, just really quickly, is there is HST on brand new builds, but the price that you see is going to be the price that you pay. There isn't it's $650,000 plus HST. The HST is already included in that price, so we don't need to stress about that. You also want to find out a little bit more about, is there some kind of cost escalation clause that the builder can bring into play during the cost of construction? Because let's go back to when 2-3 years ago, 2021, in particular, was the year when a lot of builders were looking at the cost of their materials and saying, yes, no problem, we can build this house for $650,000. But all of a sudden, the price of the raw materials, the timber, the plastic, the windows, it was all going through the roof, and they were passing those extra increases in cost on to the buyer. Well, you want to make sure that there's something like that that actually says, how do we deal with this? You know, what's the possibility? Now, admittedly, things have gone a little bit easier, and we're not seeing that, but like going back to 2021, that absolutely happened. So that's one thing that you want to watch out for, and you want to be asking about upfront when you're meeting with a builder. Number three, let's see if we can actually talk to previous customers of theirs. Like, if you are good, if you are a brilliant builder, you will have raving fans. You will have no problem in passing, hopefully, other people who have obviously said yes, they don't mind being contacted by prospective new customers to actually build the home. But you want to make sure that they have a list of people that they're like, listen, here's the top 5 people. You ring any one of those 5 and they're going to tell you about the process. They're going to tell you how good we are. So that's another thing. Don't just trust Google reviews. you absolutely want to make sure that you can talk to the people, you know, and there might only be one or two, but you want to be able to ask them questions. How did you find the build process? Did they talk to you a lot? Were you happy with the pre-closed walkthrough when you actually got the keys? Was the place immaculate? Were you allowed to turn up on site every now and again and see how the construction process is going? Because, you know, a lot of clients want to be involved in that process and see the construction of their brand new home. Number 4 thing that we actually want to discuss as well is brand new homeowners Atlantic warranty program. So there's 2 types of warranty programs we have here in Nova Scotia. The first one is a Lux warranty program. The second one is an Atlantic homeowners warranty program. Either way, these programs are designed because the builder will cover the first year, and a good builder should always say, we're going to have a 10 or an 11-month post-construction walkthrough where we send somebody back to the house with you. We walk through everything and see if there are any issues, any defects, any things that need to be fixed. Because let's face facts, when you build a brand new house, it's going to move a little bit. Like, there's no way on earth you're going to end up with no problems at all. Well, okay, it can happen. Let's not say no way, but you know, I'm sure that many of the houses, 99% of them, have slight shiftings as the property is settling properly and doing all of these things, so that the builder will come back at about 10 and a half, 11 months and say, let's do a walkthrough and let's see if there's anything we can fix. Fairly simply, fairly easy to make sure it's good. Thereafter, that's when the home warranty program kicks in and it covers major defects. Things like the roof blows off, major crack in the foundation and water's coming up. You know, think big items. Don't think drywall cracks. Don't think nail pops. Don't think that the trim needs kind of nailing back to the wall. Those are very small things, but think big things. So that's the other thing we want to do is there a home warranty program by the builder that will be passed on to you and registered with that warranty program people. Now, the last thing is obviously, where is this builder going to build? Because when you get in touch with a builder, very often they have already bought a certain number of lots in a certain subdivision in a certain location. So let's take Indigo Shores, because we know that that's just opened up recently with 150 new lots available. And the builders will basically go in and reserve certain lots that they want to build on. That's where the builder then has 2 choices. They can either just hold the land and wait for the customer to come to them and say, I would like to build a house on this piece of land. What are my options? The builder would always say, well, on that piece of land, we've already walked it, and here's a style of house, a 2-story, a split entry, bungalow with a basement, that's actually going to work on that piece of land. The second choice is that the builder has already started the construction. They've already gone in, they've cleared the land, they've started working out where the foundation's going to go. If we're in Indigo Shores, where's the drilled well, where's the septic field? And that process has already started, in which case, when you talk to the builder, that's probably going to be what we call a facsimile design, which means everything has already been decided in terms of the build. It's going to be a split entry, where the garage is, where the staircase is, how far out of the ground it's going to be, all those things have been decided. But there is still a possibility, if you get in touch with the builder early enough, to go and actually say, I want to change the layout a little bit. Can I like make this room bigger? Can I kind of have a bigger ensuite? Can I move things around without actually changing the footprint of the house? You know, so you sacrifice a little bit of room in one to get bigger elsewhere, stuff like that. Interior walls is what we're talking about. So that's always a possibility as well. So you've got to start with, where do you want the house? If you want that particular lot and it is assigned to a builder, pretty much you're going to be using that builder, but not always the case. There is a possibility that you can get another builder who will talk to the current builder who's got the reserve on that land to say, are you building on it? If you haven't started your foundation, can I almost swap you for one of my lots and I'll take that lot? So don't always think that because there is a builder's sign on the front of a piece of land that that is absolutely the builder you have to use. You do have a possibility to try and bump that builder off that lot and get your builder to come in. So a great home design, to wrap this all up, a great home always starts with your choice of a builder. Make sure you're doing your due diligence, make sure you're asking all the right questions, make sure you're meeting with the builder, make sure you're talking to previous customers, make sure you're asking about homeowners warranty programs, cost escalations. There's a whole range of things, but it all starts with finding the right builder and doing your research. Don't just go, well, that builder seems fine, I'll just use him because he's got that lot. Not always the case. If you have any questions, anything further, drop some comments down below, get in touch with us, and we'll give you our experience of working with about 3 or 4, I would say, of the top builders here in Nova Scotia.